Do you want to know about best RGB RAM for gamings? Yes, you are in the right place. We have tried to include in-depth information on RGB RAM for gamings in our video, which will be enough to fulfill all of your needs. All of them are maintaining their features, prices, quality, durability, and reputation of the manufacturer and real customer feedback. If you want to buy the best RGB RAM for gamings, we think this list will be very worthy to you. Now, let's get started with the video. At the first position of our list, we have GSkill Trident Z Royal Silver. GSkill Trident Z Royal series is in a bit of a weird place. It offers levels of power that are often going to be more suited to professional workspaces, though some streamers might be able to leverage them properly, but at the same time have a level of design that could really only be described as blinged out. The RGB strip is cut to resemble a crystalline structure, what GSkill calls a crown jewel design, and it's only available in silver and gold, which is going to look extremely out of place in anything that isn't a premium showcase build. If none of that is your thing, we also take a look at the basic Trident Z series further down this list. The Trident Z Royal features 8 RGB LED in the crown jewel bar across the top, though they are partially obscured by the silver fins on each side, so the effect is more about the glitter and glow of the crystalline bar than some of the more powerful, straightforward RGB effects you get from other RGB RAM sticks. Each LED is individually addressable, and the Trident Z uses its own software for programming, which gives you more presets and control over them, but might take a bit more work if you're trying to sync it with your fans or other RGB elements. In both the silver and gold options, the heat spreaders are polished aluminum, which is bright and colorful but still highly functional. For the purpose of this review, we're looking at the TUC 16GB pack, which is the most widely available and affordable entry in their lineup. There is a TUC 8GB entry in the lineup, but it's hard to find in stock in most places. Besides that, their 32GB lineup is available in both TUC 16GB and ForX 8GB, with the dual-channel RAM usually offering slightly better performance. Moving on to the next at number 2 with the ADATA XBGSPX D60G RGB. We're not going to lie, we've got a soft spot for any component that manages to incorporate geometric or three-dimensional aspects into its design, no matter where it goes in your PC. That's why the ADATA XBGSPX D60G RGB shot up our list before we even opened the box. It boasts a total of 10 RGB LED, with 5 on each side instead of the usual line across the top. It also has a coverage of nearly 60% of the stick surface. Depending on the case and number of sticks you're using, you might not be getting the full use out of that, but if it's at all visible from the outside of your case, it's totally worth it. Each LED is addressable, so you're going to be able to create some cool varied, or even shifting lighting effects. The angular effects aren't quite as striking once they are installed and lit, but they are still there and still very cool. Keep in mind, ADATA recommends using ASRock's polychrome for syncing, but the RAM can be controlled with all major RGB control softwares. For this review, we're looking at the very budget-friendly 16GB pack, available in both gray and white, which includes 2 sticks of 8GB 3200 MHz DDR4. It's a setup that's going to be great for most gamers, especially if you're trying to get both style and power on a slightly tighter budget. It's also one that's not going to require you to pay quite as much attention to compatibility, though you should always be keeping an eye on that. If you need a bit more memory, you can upgrade to a TUC 16GB pack, or if you want something a bit quicker, you can upgrade to 3600 MHz or even 4133 MHz for the TUC 8GB packs. There are some stocking issues with the larger packs and higher speeds, so you might need to keep an eye out if you're trying to build something with a ton of power around these. The number 3 position is held by Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro. Corsair is one of the best-known gaming brands on the market right now, and their Vengeance RGB Pro series of RAM sticks is a great example of why. They offer extremely high performance that they've in no way sacrificed to bring you something that's going to look amazing and keep your RAM slots from being a blank, boring spot in your otherwise spectacularly lit build. Each stick has 10 individually addressable RGB LED, which are also super bright, meaning you'll still be getting the full effect if your PC case uses smoked glass instead of clear. Since these are made by Corsair, they can be controlled individually or synced with all your other Corsair components using their centralized CUE software for that distinct, slowly shifting effect across your entire build, including keyboards, mice, and headsets. The RGB will have to speak for itself because there's not too much else going on besides the RGB bar on the top and the parts of it that can peek through the mesh-like windows at the top. For the purposes of this review, we're looking at their 16GB pack, which offers two 8GB sticks of 3600 MHz DDR4 RAM. For most uses, including gaming, 16GB is going to be plenty of power. If you do a lot of animation, video editing, or your PC is pulling double duty as a gaming PC and IT workstation, then you may want more. The 3600 MHz rate is going to mean even faster response times and smoother execution of applications, though it should be noted that some cheaper motherboards can't support speeds that high. If you need something different, the Vengeance RGB Pro RAM series also offers 32GB packs in either 216GB or 4GB configurations, and is available in both 3600 MHz and 3200 MHz DDR4. Next at number 4 we have TEAMGROUP TForce Delta RGB. Well-illuminated builds, especially for components like RAM that aren't usually prominently displayed, give the impression of expense and luxury. But if you think about it, that doesn't have to be the case. Not that you have to tell anyone that. RAM is typically going to be the least expensive part of your build, and LED are staggeringly cheap. So there's absolutely nothing stopping you from getting some great RGB RAM without breaking the bank. Our choice for the most reliable way to do that is the TEAMGROUP TForce Delta RGB. Each stick has 5 LED along the top, which is going to be just the tiniest bit less smooth than you might see from some of the other options on our list, which boast A10, but it's still good for the price. Now, each LED is able to be uniquely addressed with the TForce software, which gives you plenty of control but might require a bit more careful work to sync everything up. The plastic making up the RGB bar isn't super high quality, so you might start to notice hotspots bleeding through after extended use. The TForce Delta series is available in black, white, and a fun, but hard to match yellow camouflage. For our budget option, we're looking at the 2GB 3200 MHz pack, which offers one of the best prices per GB of any RAM modules currently on the market. If you need more power, you can increase it all the way up to 216GB or 232GB packs. However, you're somewhat limited in your options for speed, with the TForce Delta only going as high as 3600 MHz. If you're trying to save a bit more money, you can cut down to the 2666 MHz or 3000 MHz options. The number 5 position is held by HyperX Predator RGB. There are a couple of reasons to go for low-profile RAM modules. The first is purely practical. Low-profile RAM modules create more space for cooling and as a result, can be better suited for overclocking. The second is purely aesthetic. A low-profile RGB RAM creates the impression of a powerful supporting component that doesn't draw attention from things that you're more likely to want to showcase. The HyperX Predator RGB checks both boxes. The RGB bar is nestled inside the black aluminum heat spreader, which creates a more subtle effect than some of the crown and wraparound elements we've seen from other entries. The 5 LED are individually addressable and the sticks can be synchronized between themselves using a patented infrared connector, which will make for cleaner effects among the modules themselves. Theoretically, it can be addressed with third-party software to sync with multiple elements, but in many cases, you can only choose stack effects. For our review here, we're looking at the 2GB 3200 MHz kit, which provides an excellent level of performance for gaming without driving the price too high. Both the size and speed are going to adequately handle anything you might need from it. If you're looking for some extra space, speed, or power, the HyperX Predator series has a wide range of options available, from 2933 MHz all the way up to 4600 MHz. It makes single sticks of 8GB, 16GB, and 32GB, and sells them individually, or in kits of 2, 4, or 8, yes, including the 32GB. Be sure to check motherboard compatibility at the higher tiers. Strictly speaking, this isn't the low-profile RAM on the market, but it's one of the lowest-profile RGB options available at 1.66 inches, 42.2. Lastly, the HyperX Predator series also includes a limited lifetime warranty. The number 6 position is dominated by VisionTek OptX3 RGB. VisionTek's OptX3 RGB series is a simple but well-constructed line of RAM kits. The RGB is prominent and well executed, and it offers a good price for an amount of memory that's going to support any high-level gaming that you may want to do. The RGB is the stylized bar that protrudes from the top of the aluminum heat spreaders, which is going to make the RGB stand out without taking up too much extra space. The bar features 5 addressable RGB LED that sync with ASUS or control software, but can also be controlled with ASRock's polychrome. You do see some hotspots with this one as well, but the least we've seen for any RGB stick at this price. And, as an extra boost to your aesthetic options, these are available in either black or white. Now, you're typically going to see 16 GB recommended as the ideal amount of RAM for gaming, which is probably why the OptX3 Trident Z is only available in 16 GB kits, with 2 8 GB sticks. You get a little more option with speed, as it is available in both 3000 MHz and 3200 MHz variants. They are also pretty average in terms of size, at 1.7 inches, 40 tall. The limited lifetime warranty is always a plus when it comes to RAM, so you don't have to worry about replacing one of the core elements of your build, especially one that's likely to only break down if it was constructed incorrectly. When we say that the VisionTek OptX3 Trident is basic, we mean that in the best possible way. This is basically the dictionary definition of RGB RAM. It's not very fancy, but if you're looking for something to complement your build, you can't go wrong with this. It's also a pretty reasonably priced option, at just over $6 per GB. The only downside is that you'll have to make sure that whatever other RGB components you get are also compatible with either ASUS or ASRock controls. Moving on to the next at number 7 with Ollie Warhawk RGB. If you're the sort of person who obsessively reads through these lists hoping to one day find a RAM module that looks like cool shit from Guardian of the Galaxy, the Milano, your life has been an endless sea of disappointment. Until the exact moment that we introduced you to the Ollie Warhawk. If you're not that one specific member of our audience, these still look incredibly cool even before you fire up the RGB. The Warhawk has a total of 7 LED on each stick, 1 central and 3 on each of the wings. The wings, which also function as radiators, have windows in them for additional RGB effects, and if you're able to get a side view, that can add an impressive floating effect. On the other hand, the LED closer to the center or closer to the surface of the LED are, meaning you'll get some hotspots. It's fully compatible with all major RGB control software, so you'll have no trouble syncing this up with the rest of your build. In terms of color options, the Warhawk is available in red, black, and teal, officially called blue with the same white accents on each. Now, Ollie is a newer brand, and their Warhawk series doesn't offer quite the same range of kits that some other brands do. You have the TUX 8GB kit, which is officially the subject of our review, and the expected variations on that, though you might need to dig a little to find some of them. TUX 16GB, TUX 32GB, and FORX 8GB, FORX 16GB, and FORX 32GB. The number 8 position is held by Silicon Power XPower Zenith RGB. Silicon Power makes basically the cheapest RAM you can find anywhere, with the RGB options being cheaper than most non-RGB options, and their non-RGB options being cheaper than, well, just about anything else. If you're looking to keep your build under $1,000 but still need a splash of color here and there, the XPower Zenith RGB has you covered. Any of the official materials from Silicon Power are very careful to only call the RGB element a band of color with no mention of how many LED or how they are configured. Once you plug it in and turn it on, it's pretty clear from the hotspots that there are 5. We don't want to call the RGB strip an afterthought, because this stick was very clearly constructed with it in mind. It just doesn't have a very high degree of execution. On the brighter side, each LED is individually addressable using any of the major third-party synchronization softwares. You're going to see a lot of colors listed for the Zenith series, but this is the only one that's available with RGB. Besides that, this is the only size that the RGB is available in. 2 8GB sticks are going to deliver enough performance for most gamers, but you'll be a bit light if you've got something more demanding in mind. The 3200 MHz speed will also perform beautifully, especially for most of the CPU you're going to put in a budget build. These are also low-profile modules, at a hair over 1.5 inches, 39.5 tall, which is going to be nice for any compact budget builds you might have in mind. Finally, like most RAM cards, they offer a lifetime warranty, which is a nice comfort against the extremely low price. Next at number 9, the PMY OLOy Gaming APEX RGB. When a lot of brands set out to make a budget-friendly gaming RAM option, some things can get left at the wayside. The PMY OLOy Gaming APEX manages to deliver levels of power that are going to be great for not just gaming but also streaming or video editing while keeping the RGB bright and the price low. The OLOy APEX features 5 RGB LED embedded in a large bar that gives a full RGB effect from all viewing angles. You do get some trouble with hotspots, but it's not nearly as pronounced as you see with some cheaper options. Additionally, you get the ability to fully sync and customize with other programs using any of the available RGB control programs. As a nice little boost, it's also available in both black and white. There aren't a ton of options for the size and speed beyond the 3200 MHz TForce RGB kit we've selected for this review. If you want to upgrade, which we recommend for video editing and some more demanding applications, you can choose a TForce 16GB pack or a TForce 8GB or TForce 16GB pack. Your only options for speed are 3200 MHz or 3600 MHz, both of which are completely adequate for the purpose. The large RGB bar raises the height of this 1 to 1.8 inches, 46 mm, which if you plan on overclocking might limit your option for coolers. There's also a full service lifetime warranty, guaranteeing against any errors with labor or the parts. The XL-Rate Epic X is another budget-friendly option. It's a bit more expensive but still definitely affordable at a little over $6 per GB, and with that increase comes a slightly better RGB and more power options. Finally, the number 10 position is dominated by GSkill Trident C RGB. If you found GSkill's Trident Z Royal series a bit too ostentatious but were, rightly, still a fan of the performance and space, there's good news. The base series Trident Z offers the same metrics in a range that's just as wide and well constructed but has a much simpler design that's going to fit in better with a larger number of more conventional looking builds. Like the Royal, the Trident Z base series includes 8 RGB LED in the bar across the top, which shine through beautifully. The aluminum heat spreaders feature fins that extend up over half of the bar, but with a 4-pack like this, you're going to be viewing most of the RGB effect from above, so that doesn't really make a noticeable difference in most installs. All 8 LED are addressable using either a GSkill software or a third-party one. In terms of quality, the exterior is mostly brushed black aluminum, or you can get the models that have a brushed silver plate over half of the front for a little more flair. In this review, we looked specifically at the TForce 8GB pack, which offers 4 sticks of 3600 MHz DDR4. That's going to be a little more RAM than you need if you're just gaming. But if you also stream and edit highlight reels or moonlight as a creative professional, then this is going to be a great fit for you. The Trident Z lineup has an incredibly wide range of offerings, ranging from a basic 2GB pack all the way up to an AX32GB, with every possible configuration of 2, 4, and 8 packs and 8GB, 16GB, and 32GB available. On top of that, they offer a pretty substantial range of speeds, from 2666 MHz to 4000 MHz, and the entire range is overclockable. The only downside is that because of their high performance and price, certain kits, especially in the high ranges, can be hard to find in stock. That's all for today. All the product links in the description down below. We upload videos every single day. So, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button for the upcoming video notification.